Hi, Amy.
Heavy.
We just watched 90 Day Fiancé, Season 12, Episode 4. Did you have any initial thoughts?
Seems as though that this is the episode that should be entitled Days of Our Controlling Lives.
Oh, who's controlling what or whom?
So many controlling partners in this season. I found it very difficult to get through, and I probably missed a bunch because I was too busy fast forwarding because I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. So
Okay. All right,
I'm
then.
I'm not impressed already, and I find it very disappointing. I I don't really think that there's any feel good couples on this season.
hmm
Anyway, what were your thoughts?
I am not disappointed. I'm sort of falling in love a little bit, not to the usual extent, but with Paula and Thomas. I think that they're super adorable, and I think that they have a real connection because they've known each other for so long that will most likely last. So I'm happy for them, but I agree with you. I'm not really feeling anything for any of the other couples. I do find a lot of their behaviors quite irritating and annoying. This week for me was more about the expectations that the couples have of each other and how they haven't communicated that to one another. And so there's huge disappointments in one another, which
I can
was
see that. Okay.
something. Yeah. So before we get into it further, one and two. One, rate, review, and follow us wherever you listen to the podcast. Two, watch us on YouTube at 90 Day Fiancé Honestly. And now we may begin with Mallory and Rosh or Rashid. Okay, so we start off with them still in the car, still on the way to the airport, and then finally on the plane, looking very sweaty. It looks like they had a near miss with at least one of their flights.
They
But
said that they held the plane up for them. They were running
yes.
late. Rashid got a speeding ticket.
Mhm.
Okay.
These things happen. It's part of life. But they arrive safely to their destination after four flights.
4 flights. I can't imagine the amount of logistics that went into that, and clearly because they had so many connecting flights, it made sense to hold up that flight, otherwise, everything else shit just would've went downhill.
Yeah, very true. And even despite all of Mallory's fears and the reason why she came to Turkey in the first place to bring Rashid back to the US, everything went totally smoothly, aside for them nearly missing one of their flights. And he gets through customs faster than she does, which is great.
That reminded me of the time when we came back from Portugal and I had a broken foot and I took the handicap line and he made it through before I did. Ugh, the pain.
That's life. Okay, so what did you think of the decorated vehicle that came to pick them up at the airport?
Well, before that, I really didn't appreciate how much he was eating her face in the airport. I thought
Hmm.
that was a bit much. I thought the decorated car was really cute. I thought it was, better than the typical balloons or flowers that we see. I thought it was a really nice welcome, and I think that was the one where they threw a hat on him, so I thought that was really cute. But it was a really warm welcome for him.
Okay, good. I I was kind of gritting my teeth through all of that with the one friend who was dressed head to toe in stars and stripes. I was like, oh, here we go.
Oh
And
yeah, it was
then
tacky, but still
totally
cute.
tacky. Totally. And then writing both World War champions on the side of the vehicle. I'm like, hello. Other countries were also involved and they started in the war many years before the US actually got their act together and joined the war. So
I
champions,
didn't
I
get
don't
that.
know. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, it seems as they're driving into this small town in Alabama that it sinks in for Rashid that he is in a very small place that is vastly different to where he's been living in Turkey. There's absolutely no culture of people walking places, having an outdoor lifestyle. It's all people drive around in their individual cars and very much small buildings scattered across a large landscape.
Yes.
So I felt for him. because you can see the nervousness start to grow inside of him as he's on this car ride.
Yes, Dorothy realized that she wasn't in Kansas anymore.
Oh, no. Then they get to the house. There are 4 dogs to greet them. I'm all for the dogs. I love that. Love me some pets. But Rashid, he doesn't want them in the house, nor does he want them sleeping on the bed.
Mm.
We have feelings about this,
We sure
don't
do.
we?
We've spoken about this many, many, many times. Why did you not have this conversation previously? He knew that she had dogs. Don't you dare tell me that my babies can't sleep on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
I shall get you your own, and you shall sleep in that, and then we shall live in harmony, and you go sleep alone. Have fun with that. I was
Perfect
curious.
solution.
She said that before she had went to Turkey to pick up Rashid, um, she was watching her best friend Brandon's dog. Presumably, she had a dog sitter or something while she was gone, but it felt weird that she was dog sitting while overseas. Am I
Did she
nitpicking?
say that?
Yeah.
That she was dog sitting?
Well, she was watching Brandon's dog, and
Yeah,
then
I
I
don't
think she
know.
went overseas, and that's why I said presumably she had a dog sitter because she had her own dogs to take care of. It felt weird. Why would you
She
agree?
must Yeah, she must have had somebody to look after for the dogs because they need to be let in, fed, etc. And
Well,
she had that
I'm
she
nitpicking.
she had a camera inside, a puppy camera so that people, I think her, could watch via video. Anyway,
I've
let's
always
hope
wanted one of
everything
those.
was above board. Seems like it because the puppies are fine. I
Very
loved
happy.
the little tiny staircase that she had for one of her dogs to get onto the bed. Super cute. And then, of course, we launched into the obligatory bidet talk. Why can we not have a season of 90 Day Fiancé where they do not mention the word bidet?
I don't know. And then, we have to quote what's his face. Can't even remember his name now. But my family anal so clean.
one of one of the great lines from 90 Day Fiancé.
One of my favorite.
Yeah.
And again, with the expectation of, I need a bidet, but he probably didn't even think to ask because, it's just a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Though, what was his? I'm really losing the names today. That one, he had like a really baby voice. He was freaking out about not having a bidet.
Yeah. He
And then,
was, I think his name is Mohammed, and he was with the woman who lived in Las Vegas, and she was, oh my God, her name is Eve, something like that.
it could be.
And he was quite aggressive with her, but
She
he
was
had
like a
the
holistic
softest
healer
voice.
or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. We're talking about the same one. Yeah, and then he
Mhm.
threw a fit when, she called a plumber to do it properly, so, she didn't flood her house, but Omer Dirt was a man.
It was a man inside her house, and he should have been there. He should have been consulted. Yes, I remember that too.
Yeah.
Okay. So they begin unpacking, and it seems that Roshit has packed a few items for their future baby or babies. And this is where we come into that very, very familiar land of the couple not having discussed an extremely important topic beforehand, before getting married, which is, do you want children? Because Mallory has not decided and thinks, in fact, that she may not want kids.
No pressure
Wow.
on her, just like the expectation, the immediate expectation from him,
Yeah.
and the fact that they haven't had this conversation again bothers me so much. Like, this is a deal breaker in a lot of relationships. Why don't you talk about it as opposed to being like, he brings out, I think it was like at least 2 items, and she's just sitting there cringing
Hmm.
instead of having like a happy, you're here now, let's go, let's have fun. Now she's gonna feel all awkward about it. But you should have had this conversation before.
Yeah, I think she mentioned that they did talk briefly about children in the future, but she was not honest with him. She didn't reveal that her feelings are more towards the side of not having kids than actually having them. And he definitely wants them in the future. So you could say that they have talked about it, I guess, but I feel like they really haven't because she has been completely dishonest with her true feelings and has
Mhm.
hidden it from him. which is deception.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you haven't been honest in that conversation, did you actually have the conversation?
Yeah, good point.
Anyway. Oh,
Yes.
and the glory holes. Why did she feel the need to talk to him about glory holes in such detail?
Why do they need to show that to us? I don't care. I don't need to know this. Come on.
Agreed.
Really? Yeah. Okay. The final point that I have for their segment is concerning Brandon, the former friends with benefits to Mallory. He comes over to the house immediately. Like it seems like they've only had a few moments in the house to themselves before she gets this text from him that says, "I'm coming over to get my puppy cam." Wouldn't you, as if you were Mallory, think that it would be better to say to Brandon, "Look, can you come over maybe in an hour, maybe tomorrow? Because we just got here and I really just would love some time to settle in with my fiance." No?
I don't think that that would be unreasonable, though perhaps he also just got back from a trip and wanted to pick up his puppy as well.
Okay.
I don't know. An hour wouldn't kill him.
Anyway, I didn't feel that that was the right thing to do to invite him over. Just give him a little bit of time and space, your fiance, to get used to the house, used to the dogs, and then introduce this element, which is obviously going to be a point of contention for them throughout the season of the former friends with benefits. You don't have
No.
to do it right off the bat.
Let's rub his face in it the same way that Shay's daughter was there when Annabelle arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Let them acclimate.
Yeah, would be nice. Shall we read on?
Yes, please.
Let's go to Debby and Mido. Fascinating for me was the part before they start driving home or as they are driving home, where Debby and her daughter are talking about how worried they were about whether or not Mido was going to actually arrive, how much stress that caused them, that they were very concerned. And they express this to him in a very nice way. It's not an accusatory tone. And yet he seems completely unfazed and is so uncaring and unsympathetic about the
Flippant?
situation that he created. He made this happen by not communicating with Debby before he left to say, "Yes, I'm getting on the plane. I will be there." It was complete radio silence, so she had no idea. And you leave this person in the lurch along with her daughter, who's also waiting. And yet you don't say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't have time to send a text," or "things were crazy." Whatever the case may have been, it just seems like he does not give two craps about other people's time. And in fact, he wanted an apology from them. It was like, what?
How dare you not appreciate my well thought out surprise?
Yeah. Ugh. Not starting very well.
No.
When they get to the apartment and he's being shown around the space, which is very, very small, by the way, I felt very much like his expression, like his face says everything. He seemed unexcited, unappreciative, somewhat disdainful, and very much not looking forward to living with both Debby and her daughter. And then when he asks to see his room, I was like, what? You guys are going to have separate rooms? What is this? But no, that's just the way that he's talking about the space that he and Debby are going to sleep in as his room. So I was like,
Laying
huh?
claim. Okay.
Whatever. And by the way, Devin, the daughter, is sleeping on a couch in the living room, which is very crowded. So I'm really glad that they eventually moved into a larger place. And we find out that Debby has not, in fact, lived with a man for over 20 years, which is significant. So there's going to be some big adjustments for her.
Quite.
And when they get to the point of getting ready for bed, they go off into their own separate private spaces to change, which I found quite funny. She goes into the bathroom, closes the door. He walks into the closet, closes the door. Yes? No?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then she comes out wearing this like lumberjack nightie.
Not a nightie, a nightgown.
Sorry. What's the difference?
A nightie is like a short thing, a cute thing, possibly a sexy thing. A nightgown goes all the way down to your ankles, covers usually down to the wrists, and probably up to the neck as well, because it's a gown. It goes all the way to the floor.
I follow. Thank you. Thank you for the correction. I wanted to ask, like, did she share a bed with her daughter and that's why she's sleeping on the couch?
I don't think so. I think Devin was always on the couch, maybe.
Then I wonder, if it was so uncomfortable for Mido to sleep in the same bed as Debbie, why didn't he take the couch?
Right. Well, I think it's all about appearances.
Okay.
I mean, as much as it's very appropriate that he's an actor in his career. I feel like he is acting this entire time. I don't feel there's anything genuine about him whatsoever. The only time that I felt that he was not acting, that he was actually genuine in his emotion, was when Debbie came out of the washroom wearing the nightgown and you saw that smile on his face, which was relief because, oh my God, does he not want to have anything sexual to do with this woman? Nothing. And it was, oh, okay, good. She's wearing this completely impenetrable piece of clothing. There will be no expectation of sex tonight or just playing around. Nothing.
I thought he was also being genuine with his facial expressions when he was introduced to the home for the first time. Like the disdain. It's like, why do you have so many things in such a small place? My home was larger
Yeah.
than this. Like complete and utter judgment. Like you couldn't even pretend to act happy, excited. No, I understand that, jet lag and stress, but that something, maybe a little bit of appreciation. No,
No, no, that's too much. But I just don't understand why Debbie doesn't see this, why she can't tell that he does not like it there. He doesn't like her. He's not attracted to her. He doesn't love her. I mean, the wall of pillows. A wall of pillows. Are you kidding me? Like, this is a big bed. You guys can just sleep on opposite sides. You don't have to have a wall of pillows. You could
but he
just be
even
adults
said
and
that
say,
no, because she was even like slipping a hand through, and he had to like.
yeah, but was she?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
like, I don't know. I can't believe anything he says, and even if she was touching him, I don't believe that she would have been grabbing his crotch. I think maybe she would have,
Oh
like,
no,
been patting his shoulder or putting a hand on his chest, just that comforting, "You're there, I'm here, we're together," kinda stuff. Not, "Ooh, let's do it."
no,
No.
that's what I mean. I didn't think she
Yeah.
was trying to get all frisky. I think it's just him here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, even the chaste kisses that they share, it's always on the cheek or he kisses her on the forehead. And I do not understand any of this. Were we not introduced to the fact that when Debbie initially met Mito, he was a tour guide and he kissed her on the lips on the way down the pyramid, which is
Mhm.
how she knew that he was attracted to her. So why, how does that all fit in? What is going on here? It's okay to kiss her on the lips to, like, get her attention, but now everything is on the cheek or the forehead? Mm-mm.
No, it's because he's getting what he wants. And that's to be closer to Hollywood, though not close enough.
Lord, that guilt trip that he laid on her was something else. I moved all the way from Egypt. I left my family, my friends, my career, everything. The least you can do is move from New Orleans to Hollywood. Hollywood specifically.
Oh yeah, and
Jesus.
what happened to New York? Because he also said that he wanted to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, now it's just Hollywood. That's the only
No,
place that will do.
it's as if he thinks that he's going to walk down the street somewhere in Hollywood and a director or producer is just going to pull over and be like, I need you in my next big film. Millions and millions of dollars. No
Yeah.
tryouts, no nothing. Just come on board. Let's do it. Sign the contract right now. No lawyers, just you and me. Let's do this. Like, what? What is he expecting? I think that's what he's expecting,
I
actually.
think so too. Absolutely. I think he's got completely pie in the sky dreams about what it's like to be an actor and be famous in the United States, and he's determined to make that happen, but has absolutely no clue about the reality of how it all works. That there's a great deal of work involved that he should have started years ago, decades ago, that he needs to know people, that he needs to be, good looking and tall and everything first.
Ridiculous. Short sighted.
The outfit that he wore to go sightseeing in New Orleans, thoughts, comments?
He had a problem with her outfit and made her change.
Yeah.
Here's part one of controlling. And yet he wears the tightest points pants,
Leisure wear.
leisure. I can't even say it properly right now. I'm just his mannerisms, the way that he was posing for the photos, his regime before he left, just very, I don't know how to describe it.
Gay.
Okay. I was going to say effeminate, but not, I don't know.
For
His
me, it's all he's closeted.
he
He's in the closet.
his pants were more revealing than her shoulders.
Absolutely. It was a total shit show. Double standards up the wazoo, ridiculous control of the situation. And yes, it
Mhm.
reveals how incredibly he's so vain. He's
Yeah.
incredibly vain. He's incredibly selfish. The attention to his own personal appearance, and like you said, the mannerisms, the tight clothing, all of that stuff, the way that he refuses to kiss Debbie, he obviously has a problem with sexual attraction to her, if not to all women. I'm like, closet, 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 you are actually gay.
And as I say, I don't know what to say it. In my notes, it says my gaydar is going
Yeah,
off.
exactly. Thank you.
And as they're walking down the street, she's like, "Oh, this is Bourbon Street where a lot of strip clubs are." And he's like, "And that's where I will go when you are asleep."
Mhm.
Hmm. Okay. Uh,
How that makes sense, I don't know. Like, you can't even be sexually attracted to your own fiancé, but you're already talking about going to strip clubs behind her back? Do you think that this is the code for how to look macho and straight?
yeah. I'm gonna go to a strip club when you're sleeping.
Okay. Yes, you're obviously straight, man. Okay, sure.
Thought of that.
The discussion that they had over Hollywood occurs while they're out on this tour of the city. And I felt like the way that Debbie just deflected right away, she did not want to discuss it. So she steered the conversation elsewhere or just said, we'll talk about it later, or something like that, was a complete mistake because she's letting him steamroll over her. And just let him know right now, no, that's not going to happen. Or yeah, I'd be into that. That could be fun. But just to say, oh, I don't really want to talk about this with him, so I'm going to push it aside for now. Huge mistake.
It's because she doesn't
Huge.
want to ruffle his feathers. She doesn't want to piss him off.
I know.
She already knows how he behaves. So does she really want to add fuel to the fire at this point? I mean, she does anyway, unknowingly and accidentally.
Yeah. That next hiccup in the was awful. It was so juvenile. So Debbie and her daughter are packing. Mido is spraying himself with about 10 gallons of perfume. We see from that little chyron on the screen that it's 81 days to wed. So they've had about a week so far. And they're moving into this new apartment, which has 2 bedrooms. So great, everybody's going to have their own space. But he's acting like a complete spoiled child. He's in the middle of a tantrum, isn't speaking to anybody. And we learn from Debbie that it's because he asked her to take a video of him driving the truck, and instead she took a photo by accident, and he was really mad about that. And so that's the end of the world, basically. You don't deserve any of my kindness and care anymore. I'm going to act like a complete jerk towards you because of this.
As if he couldn't have just gotten back in the truck, backed it up a bit, and then driven it a couple feet. That would have
Yeah.
completely resolved everything. Or,
Yes.
drive around the block if you need to. It's not the end of the world. But apparently, Debbie has just done something that is completely and utterly unforgivable. And after 30 minutes of moving, he needs to go and rest because he's so angry.
I know. It was really quite astonishing the way that he declined to help at all. It seemed like this was a good way for him to get out of helping by having this temper tantrum. He could excuse himself by means or by the way of, oh, you've upset me. You've done something unforgivable. And so I now have to leave. So I'm no longer going to be helping. Not that he really was to begin with, but like allowing these 2 women to just bear the brunt of all of this work on their own while you go and flop on a bed because you've been slighted? Like, come on.
In his room.
In his room. Yes, his room.
Yeah, love that.
He was so aggravating in this scene, and yet Debbie doesn't really see it. Is this because he's done it so often that she's familiar with it and she knows that there's no coming out of it until he decides that he's done with the tantrum? Or is it because she just doesn't know how to cope with this kind of behavior? I'm puzzled.
I'm not sure. I just don't appreciate giving him any screen time, knowing that all he wants is fame.
Yeah. The way that he went to stand outside in the pouring rain, I was like, dramatic much?
The tiny
Please.
violins played in unison under the alcove away from the rain.
All right, I think I've had about enough of him. Shall we read on?
Yes.
Aisha and Maxwell. Lord. Oh,
Okay,
lordy, lordy, lordy.
I'd like to know what the difference is between her and her friend, because she calls her friend Trish a prophetess versus Aisha, who is a prophet, but somehow she communicates better with God than she does. I really wasn't quite sure of that dynamic. And then I wondered, like, can't we all hear and speak to God or the universe or whomever you pray to? I still don't understand this.
No, this is going to be really difficult for both of us, I think, this season, is understanding Aisha, her beliefs, and the way in which it informs her interpretation of the world and her relationship. Because we really haven't come across this before to this degree with anybody else, where they take themselves so seriously and it's so all encompassing, the religious aspect, that it completely dominates the relationship. Like, we can't talk about the relationship without talking about the religion. The religion informs every decision she's making along the way, whether it's to go to Nigeria, to stay in the United States, to do the K1, to do the other one, the spousal visa. You just cannot escape it. And I think that's pretty difficult for other people who maybe make decisions based on their feelings, their
Logic.
situations. Yes, their logic. It's because I just find it so conflicting when, like you said, Aisha has talked about herself as being a prophet, that she can speak in tongues, she can speak directly to God, and the devil doesn't understand her, but she has to go to her girlfriend, the prophetess, to go get a phone call with God. Like, what? Huh? And then even the geese, Canada geese, by the way, hello, also known as cobra chickens up here, in the background, starting to make a fuss and rustle up their feathers and make lots of noise, honking, because of the two women doing their at a very loud level.
But apparently that's a sign. And for any of you who don't know, any disruptions to Canada geese, and they will lose their mind. It is very well known that they will chase you, they will nip at you, they will cause an absolute disruption. They will stop traffic.
Yeah. If they have babies, they are extremely territorial. It's really hard to win against a goose. But obviously, like, the geese are making noise because you're making noise. You're disrupting them. And but it gets attributed to some religious aspect. It's God speaking. They have to listen. It's a sign. I'm like, oh, please. You're making noise, so they're making noise. You stop making noise, they're calm and quiet.
I found it interesting that she didn't even say Maxwell's name until her next segment.
Oh.
It was all about, I mean, I didn't catch it anyway, because my first was Aisha and then it wasn't until a couple lines later, Maxwell? Is that? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then all of a sudden she's like, okay, so I'm going to Nigeria. I'm like, I didn't hear that, but
Patricia I didn't hear it either, but Patricia somehow, in this loud praying, whatever it was, got a message, and the message was that Aisha has to go to Nigeria. Okay. I mean, I thought we were doing that anyway from the beginning, because that is the only option left to her right now.
And
so
I find it strange because Trisha said that God is going to turn it around for the good.
Right.
Who turned it around for the bad? Who influenced that?
The guy who lives downstairs.
Okay.
I mean, aren't they attributing anything that goes wrong to the devil and anything that goes right to God? That's very simplistic.
I really don't want to get into this discussion right now, because I feel like we will never get out of it.
No, we won't. You're right. Okay, so here's the other conflict that I find really, really annoying in Aisha and her religious beliefs. Okay, she's talking about being a visionary, and yet when it comes to Maxwell, that means she's going to change his hair. She's going to change his skin, his teeth. You want to make all these changes to this human being that you supposedly love and want to marry. Okay, think I can wrap my head around that. But no, not in light of the fact that you just said last week and the week before that God provided you with the perfect man for you. So why the heck are you trying to change him? Hello?
Change anything
Yeah.
about him.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me. And again, controlling. And even when
Yes.
she has that call with him, she's like, don't forget your sunscreen, maybe do some push-ups.
The push-ups thing, I found that gross.
Sunscreen, I get it. I have to
Yeah.
remind myself every time I go outside. It would be nice to have someone yell at me before I go outside because, the sun has now decided it's going to come out. So that's nice. But everything else is just so what's the word? Can I use the word vain again? Like she wants him to
Yeah.
look good on her arm and she can't just be happy with the man that he is, the one that God has created, and now she wants to change God's perfect human being.
Yeah. I don't understand it.
I
Also,
don't
I
either.
don't understand why Aisha's mom is coming on this trip. She says about her mom that she gets on Aisha's last nerve. So why would you bring her with you? What's the point of this?
I have no opinions.
Final question. Why is she talking about doing the K1 visa again? You already tried it once and he got kicked out because they believed him culpable of scamming. Do you
Mm-hmm.
really think that a
Fraud.
second attempt is going to work well?
All that money.
So we're getting nowhere fast. Shall we read on?
Yes, please.
Paula and Thomas. These two cuties. First of all, she's giving credit to all of the good things that Thomas has done and all of the wonderful things in her life to the universe, much as Aisha attributes everything to God. But Paula's a little bit more discreet about it, which I appreciate. And Thomas feels slighted because he wants credit for his good work, which I think is reasonable.
Fair. They are together. He did bring her over on the K1 visa, though this woman seems completely and utterly insufferable in a different way than the others. It doesn't seem as though anything is going to make her happy. She kind of reminded me of Jasmine that way. Like,
Yeah.
the apartment's too small, it's too minimalistic. I'm going to be able to fit a shoebox and a shirt in that one closet. What? But then she also says that being vegan in the States is so much cheaper. Okay, based on what? And because she attributes a lot of her success or gifts from the universe or awards from the universe, opportunities to the universe. She had that little tiny apartment figurine, so maybe she should have bought a larger tiny apartment figurine
Yeah.
to assist. And then like her going on about how he doesn't have a couch and a dining room table, and if she had known that, she wouldn't have come over.
Quite dramatic. Yes. A little over the top.
What? Nothing is big enough. Where's the closet? What's in your fridge? Oh, murder. There's a piece of meat in his fridge. Did they not discuss what they were going to do about the fridge situation before she got over there? Is he going to solely eat vegan at home? Is he only going to cook meat outside? Is he allowed to eat allowed? Or is he going to eat meat only when they go out to restaurants so they don't have to have any in the house? I don't think that they've had this question. But again, controlling, controlling, controlling. This is my chosen diet. And I'm very irritated with you that you have a product that I refuse to eat.
Okay. I agree with you that she was controlling about the food. I thought that was a little bit much. He eats what he eats, she eats what she eats. That's their own personal choice, but she did say that they had talked about it before she moved there. So, he was supposed to have already adhered to the rules that they had agreed to before she came
Shoot,
to the
I missed
US.
that. Okay.
But I still think she was being a little bit overreactive, especially when she saw the dehydrator and she's like, "Oh, is that for bananas? Like, what do you do?" And he's like, "Oh, no, it's for meat." Okay, because they had agreed he was only going to cook meat outside on the barbecue, not inside the house. Whatever. They're obviously playing this up a lot for our benefit so that we get irritated or we side with one or the other of them. Yes, she's very, very picky, but yes, he they had discussed this before. She had been to his apartment before on one of her trips to the US. She knew that
Yes.
he had this teeny tiny little camping table and a sofa bed or whatever it is, very small, not one of each of a sofa and a bed. And she had discussed with him that he should upgrade those items before her arrival, and he did not. So he's failing, as far as I can see, to accommodate her, but she's also failing to give him space to accommodate her. You know, it's like all or nothing for her. I give you 7 days to fix all of this. Clearly, he has a very large closet, which he could have cleaned out some of and then left her half of it. He takes half or moves stuff into the tiny little closet in the front that he was saying she should have as her own space. I mean, all of this to me just screamed producer's intervention.
Okay, well, now I feel bad because clearly I missed that. They had already had that conversation. So here I am sassing her about it. So I retract that based on this newfound information. Clearly, I am ignorant and fast forwarded all of that. My only last comment was when they got into the bed, I had half a mind that she was going to ask him. She did ask him if you changed the sheets, but I wondered if she really meant, have you changed the sheets since the last time you ate meat?
They were cute in the bed. The way that they tangled up their legs together, I was like, what is this? This is very strange, but it was also cute. Shows how much they're in love. So that was all good for me.
I think it's becoming abundantly clear that I wasn't in a good mood when I was watching.
Let's read on. Let's go to Shea and Anabelle.
Sounds like such like a better episode, as you describe it, than my piss poor notes. Okay, let's continue on. Okay.
Anabelle, as expected, first scene, she's inside the tub scrubbing it. It's absolutely disgusting. Gross. Ew, looks like it hasn't been cleaned in a year. Ugh.
It probably hasn't been, but she has to have somewhere so she can bathe him. But, you know, as she was cleaning it, she's like, oh, there's dog hair blah, 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 everywhere. Yes, but when you have animals, it is both a fashion accessory and a condiment. So you just really have to get used to it, embrace it. But I feel like out of everyone, she's the one who's growing on me the most.
Okay.
Because when they're in the car, she starts talking about how, you know, sometimes he just talks too much and she just wants to tell him to shut up.
Yeah.
And, you know, he kind of reminded me of my mom when we're just driving around and she just points out the most random things that don't matter. Oh, look at that billboard says this. Oh, the street sign says that. Look at. Even though he was, you know, introducing her to his little town and giving her some backstory, I think it was just information overload and she really just wanted to throttle him. I thought that was quite funny.
Okay, what I found funny when she gets up, she's already dressed, she's cleaning the tub. Then Shea comes over and says, oh, no, get back into bed. I want to bring you breakfast in bed, which she hates because she's like the crumbs and like, what are you doing? No, this is not right. We can't eat in the bed. That's not good. But he makes her scrambled eggs and 2 pieces of toast. And it's like, he thinks that this is grand gesture. I'm like, oh my God, minimal effort. When people do this, not men, women too, when they make something very, very basic for their partners and think that they deserve accolades because they're presenting them with, oh, fantastic, a meal. I'm like, please, minimal. This is the bare minimum, people. Grow up a little bit.
When I was a nanny, the kids at this time were maybe 4, 6, and 8. And they made me and a friend a bowl of Cheerios and a cup of coffee.
Cute.
It was absolutely adorable. I was so proud of them for, you know, not hurting themselves, for being safe with the coffee, and just for having that just the thought. I thought it was so sweet. But him making scrambled eggs and toast and telling her that the jam on the toast is like breakfast dessert. What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, bar is low.
Yes, low. Absolutely. Like kids
super
doing
high
that
for those kids, but
kids doing that, beautiful. I love it. And a grown adult man doing that and thinking that he's the chef's kiss because he does this. No, Especially when she's already uncomfortable with it and obviously uncomfortable with eating in the bed. This is not her culture. She doesn't want to do this. It is kind of gross. You get crumbs in the bed. So, like you, I'm on Annabelle's side. I totally am loving her and how she treats him. Like, do you actually think that this is what he ate for breakfast? No. He probably had many more eggs, all kinds of sides. Like, this is not what that man of that size eats for breakfast.
All protein and carbs.
Yeah. Anyway, they go on this car ride. He's showing her around. She's bored out of her skull. He doesn't shut up. The point of this driving around to me was not to show her the things and the stuff and to point them out one by one. It was to get to the destination, which was this restaurant slash bar slash pool hall where he could go drink. To me, that was the point of this whole, Jesus, this whole escapade.
Flail.
Like, yeah, I'm getting so excited. Did you feel that as well, or was that just my impression?
No, 100%. And did
Okay.
you catch as they were walking into the bar, he said, yeah, this is the bar that I bought with my friend. Just so casually.
He said he
Oh,
bought it?
yeah. I had to rewind it.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So now he owns his bar.
Okay.
But it was so passive. Like maybe
Casual?
he and his friend bought the bar previously, and then someone else bought it. Like he didn't say, "I currently own it." I don't know.
Hmm.
Shea with his words.
Yeah.
Who who knows?
Hmm.
But then they meet up with his friends Jeff and Lindsay, and immediately mail order bride gets brought up.
Was that not the most offensive thing you've ever heard?
Yes. I mean, it's up there. So
Yeah.
disrespectful. And for that to be like the first thing that you talk about.
Yeah, I know they're putting it in the context of, well, you've just moved to this small town. This community is extremely judgmental. So this is what you're going to come up against. Mail order bride. I was like, still not appropriate. And especially in light of how they talk about, oh, well, everybody in this community thinks that Shea has been single for the past 4 years. Well, what? How is that helpful information?
Why can't they just, acknowledge to themselves what issues she's going to be facing and try to help circumvent that? Try to
Yeah.
support them
Hmm.
as opposed to shoving it in her face and being like, nobody respects you. Shay doesn't respect your relationship.
Hmm. Yeah, it felt a little bit like a warning to Annabelle. Like they did seem at the end like they were very much on her side. They were warm towards her. They're like, we really like you and welcome, and if there's anything you need, they were trying to warn her about Shay in a way that wouldn't be too offensive to him, if that's possible.
Maybe. I think the approach, it wasn't, if that was the approach that they, or the desired outcome, I think they missed the mark on that.
Okay.
But you're right. They didn't come across as being like vindictive or like incredibly rude, or, I mean, the words were rude, but the intent behind them wasn't. I think they mean well, is what I'm trying to
Hmm.
say in
Yeah,
many, many words.
they did seem to mean well at the end, but they came off at the beginning as being very weird. And yeah.
Yeah.
So once they leave, Shay has an opportunity to talk to Annabelle by himself, and he wants to get it off his chest about what his ex-wife, Nicole, has threatened to say and or do once Annabelle is there, which is that she believes that Shay has been cheating with Angie, who is one of his friend's daughters. Again,
Yes.
yuck, gross. But the way that he talks about this is even worse than I could have possibly imagined.
It was the dumbest way I've heard anyone try to like beat around the bush about cheating. Like she asked, "Did you kiss Angie or something like that?" And he's like, "Well, not when I'm with you." Or do you flirt and kiss other people in general? He's not when I'm with you. But this is the first time that she's been in the States. So you're
Hmm.
saying that you have been doing this entire time, kissing and flirting. And his response was, "If you think I cheated, I'm sorry. I didn't plan on it."
He does not consider this to be cheating. He says it's
Mm-mm.
just fun. What kind of fun, you ask? He calls it drunk fun. Drunk fun. So I'm drunk and I'm kissing people. And I'm not responsible for my behavior, much as we see in Katie, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
you're so out of control that you can't stop yourself from kissing these other women, and that somehow is an excuse. And also, you're very drunk. And so, how can we reliably know that all you're doing is kissing them if it's drunk fun? Do you actually know that that's all you did with them? I don't believe him.
I
Not one bit.
I don't either. I don't either. I think this is all gonna blow up in his face. Annabelle doesn't deserve this, and he clearly, much like Katie, does not take any accountability
Yeah.
for his actions. It's just,
Yeah.
if you think that I cheated
Then I'm sorry.
and it wasn't even I'm sorry, that wasn't my intent.
Yeah, very problematic. I'm very worried. Well, she justifiably has a reaction that takes her outside of the bar onto the street where she's fuming. To the camera, she calls him a liar. Yep,
Mhm,
I agree
mhm.
with that. And we shall see where it goes from there.
I think she might be my favorite person at this point.
Good. Good choice. Any final comments before we wrap up today?
Now, as much as I have poo-pooed on this episode, it has been much more enjoyable now that I have spoken to you about it. Clearly, I need to watch the show more intently and possibly when I'm in a better mood. Maybe I need to stop being so judgmental, and that will be more enjoyable for me in the end. What about you?
But
Last
isn't
words?
that the purpose of the show? For all of us watching to be judgmental and to compare those people to ourselves or to people we know and to relationships we're in or know of.
Well, I think my judgment came from more of a negative place and without all of the knowledge that was actually portrayed on the show. Because as I said, I
Okay.
skipped a lot. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
take
I missed stuff
responsibility
too.
for that.
I didn't catch it that Shea had bought the bar at some point. So, yeah, we all miss stuff. That's the point of having this discussion so that we can catch up and figure out where, what, how, who, and why. I think that's all of them, isn't it? The W's.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, before we go, if you're enjoying the 90 Day Fiancé Honestly podcast, please subscribe to or give our show a follow. If you have an additional moment, please rate us and help other 90 Day fans to find our show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.